we're back on another exciting episode of Starfleet Boy, where we have a casual and informal conversation about Star Trek. Today, we're focused on Star Trek: The Animated Series, Episode 9, 9, 9, 9. I think it's 9. Damn it! I wrote everything down but that. Once Upon a Planet. Yes, it is episode. Like Aaron's looking.
I don't even remember. Like I was joking before when we were talking behind the scenes. Like I wrote a book so I didn't have to remember it. It's like all in there. Just pick it up whenever.
So. By the way, welcome back, Aaron. Nice to see you, and also Fathery, welcome back. We are also streaming for the first time on Twitter. I know it's like a dumpster
and maybe
fire
the last time.
Yeah, it might be the last time. I know Twitter's a dumpster fire that's like on its way out, but hey, let's just try these like technologies while we have access to them. So yeah, we're doing that. So
they fall apart in the middle, we know why.
Exactly. So if you're watching this on Twitter, please, I'm monitoring the replies. So please feel free to reply and say hi, and feel free to hit the love heart button and retweet it if you like as well. That'll help us out. So yeah, I feel like I'm getting more professional, like Text Trek. I have these housekeeping things to do and all that stuff.
Well, I didn't invent that.
I know, but you're like so good. Everything's like Starfleet was a little more casual and informal and disorganized. I'm gonna add that as an extra thing. But welcome back, gentlemen. We're here to talk about Once Upon a Planet, the sequel to Shore Leave. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm excited to talk about this episode.
TMP, who knows?
Yeah, actually.
Or
would either
spiritual successor to Nomad, or I don't know. There's
a
lot of pieces in there.
And as we were talking about earlier, maybe if Kirk hadn't intervened, the computer would have been one of the bad ones with Pina Hamper and Agamus.
Maybe it is. We don't know. Like
it's true. We have to. I think Lower Decks needs to come back to this planet again.
That needs to be another. Yeah, I mean, like, did people continue to go there and like hang out and do like entertainment things, or like did it fall apart like Six Flags is, or who knows?
That would be really funny if it's like a destroyed amusement park, like all the guts of the works are everywhere, and it's like
that's kind of sad.
I know. It is sad. All right, sorry. Now I'm distracted by Twitter. Twitter. Sorry, I said earlier I would be monitoring Twitter, but I gotta pay attention, so I'm not monitoring Twitter anymore. Don't do anything crazy, tweet people.
Doesn't the comments show up in here in StreamYard?
Are you seeing those?
Hold on, I don't see them. I only see YouTube.
But there should be a way to do that though. You have to add Twitter into the StreamYard.
Oh, okay. I will do that.
We've done that. Okay, yeah, we've done that before. We did like our Treksgiving thing or whatever that was 2 years ago.
Cool. I think I remember that actually. Very nice. Would either of you guys like to do the?
Was that when y'all were giving away the fan set pins?
Yes, and they kind of didn't go great because I accidentally flashed all of the. We were doing a big reveal of what was coming up, and then I accidentally turned it on. So I'm like, okay, I guess we gotta reveal it now. It was just like, it was interesting. All the people that we chose were really great, but everybody together, I like lost control of the show. It was over. Like.
By the way, our friend the Sub Commander has decloaked in the audience here on YouTube and says, just as cockroaches will survive nuclear holocaust, so too will Twitter endure. And nice to see you, Tupa, and also Joel, and Turkey Corn FIFA. This is a reference to my Twitter handle. Speaking of Twitter, this is last. Can we? I know I'm the one talking about it, but I think we'll stop the Twitter stuff after this because Twitter's distracting everyone in the world right now. But
I hadn't thought of Twitter all day till just now, so I haven't been distracted by it.
So I pay for this blue thing. I paid for it way before it was controversial. It's paid for me, but it's a gift and I use it. So I I change my username all the time, like everyone does. Like, you know, something cool. You're like going to STL. Like, I want to put STLV in my profile, whatever. So the last thing I did was, I don't know, turkey and corn because of the, you know, like the Thanksgiving time, right? Like, so now I'm like wanting to change it so many times, like, and I can't. They deny you. If you're a Twitter blue person, you get a stupid blue check mark that I didn't ask for it. I don't want. And that locks your username as whatever it is. You can no longer change.
So now it's that forever.
Yeah.
Couldn't you unsubscribe from Twitter Blue and then change it and then resubscribe?
I'm afraid because since it's a gift, someone pays for it, and it's on the old. It's on a different pricing tier. I think they upgraded it because I think it's already upgraded. So I think that might work. I'll have to investigate it. But I don't know.
This is the second time I was in the middle of putting all the paperwork together to get the actual thing. You know, as somebody who
right, you should have a check mark. Okay,
yes. But every time I do that, then something like this happens. I'm like, okay, forget it. I'm just
the check mark is completely worthless now. Like verification means nothing anymore. It's
I created a little Starfleet.
Yeah, yours is awesome. But anyways, I am verified. If you look at my stupid profile, but it will have a turkey and corn on it forever, and I'm upset about that. And so I don't know what to
say. Contact Elon. He seems very
I don't want to at Elon because I'm afraid he'll ban me or do something awful to me, and I don't want to deal with that.
Although that's kind of like a badge of honor at this point. I think it feels
it's true. Yeah, actually, you're right. That's true. I'm going to try to get blocked by him. And this is how I'll do it. Right now, he has a poll running about whether they should reinstate Donald Trump's account. So normally I don't try to interact with trolls like Elon Musk. He's like a supreme troll, like the Troll King or whatever. But in this case, we're trailing behind on the no to reinstate. So if everyone could just... I know it's a lot to ask, but if everyone could just go and hit... storm that poll before it ends, and let's make sure that it's loud and clear that we don't want that kind of nonsense on social media. Although, we're not here to get into a debate about free speech or anything. It's just nonsense that we're talking about. So, anyways,
there's also like the free speech of yelling fire in a crowded theater. Like,
right?
It's like that's not really free speech. So,
right? Yeah. That's wrong. So, anyways, please do that, and we'd appreciate it. And then hopefully Elon Musk will block me because I've incited violence.
We're at 52% yes, 48% no.
Oh, cool. It's close, though. It can be managed. So, yeah. Everyone spread the word.
4 hours left. Yeah.
The Underground Starfleet Network. Starflight. Let's do it. All right. Now that we did this whole like segment of Twitter, which I didn't want to do, but we did it anyways. Father, will you do the episode summary for this episode while I go and hide Twitter?
Sure. So, in this episode of Star Trek, the animated series, the Enterprise returns to the Shore Leave planet from the episode Shore Leave, where a robotic system will create whatever fantasies you can imagine, and you can live out all kinds of fun, wacky adventures. And while they're on their vacation, though, this time, things go a little weird when the main computer system that runs the amusement park decides that it needs to free the Enterprise, and it must be a sentient being like itself that is made of artificial means, but is still its own intelligent creature, and it's infested with like these little humans, and so it decides it needs to turn off all of the little humans and actually tries to take control of the Enterprise and drive it around and stuff. And then Kirk is able to convince the computer like no, we coexist, man and machine together. That's common throughout the galaxy, and you have nothing to worry about. And they all go back to enjoying a picnic with two-headed dragons and Alice in Wonderland, and it was a fun, happy little day after all.
This is why there's so many evil AI post the original series. It's because Kirk's not around to convince computers to just either explode or serve us.
He kept them in line, is what you're saying.
That was a great summary, Father. Oops. Go ahead.
It just feels like a boss, like trying to convince you that's like, oh, it'll be great to work on the weekend. It'll be. You don't need an overtime, no, because you're helping the company. You're working really hard, like hardcore or whatever. Related to the other conversation we had. But yeah, that's what it always reminded me of. Just like I'm going to need you to come in this weekend and do your TPS report.
Did Kirk give him the we're a family here speech? Well, if this computer keeps up, he might even win himself a little pizza party. So.
Speaking of pizza parties, didn't the Lower Deckers? No, it was the Prodigy writers got a pizza party thrown for them.
Did they?
I think so.
Yeah, they're well. This ties back into Twitter's the Prodigy Writers Room Twitter account got 1,000 followers, I think, or whatever their goal was, and then the Hageman brothers bought them all pizza, and Aaron Walkie posted pictures of it.
It was pretty fun. It looked like it was a fun party. I will throw a pizza party for you guys if I ever meet you in person. That sounds like a fun thing to do. So Once Upon a Planet, I was really surprised at how much I liked this episode. I thought it was going to be kind of like whatever. I was like, how are they going to do a sequel about the shore leave planet? And I enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. I especially liked that this was a Uhura plus episode. Like she got to like have a lot of scenes, and she even gave the like the nicer solution, I guess, than Kirk did, where she kind of like encourages the computer to realize that perhaps it can use what was once its duty as something that might bring it delight. And I kind of like that. And she said something like, it's okay to serve if it's of your own desire, like there's nothing wrong with that. And so she gave the computer this like great idea.
I was saying, unless the computer, but I don't want to. So it's just like that's what I was waiting for. It's like, no, that's fine. I'm done.
It's amazing that it was able to like take over the Enterprise too. Like that's a pretty powerful.
That was interesting.
Kinda...
Yeah, I like that conversation between Scotty and Eric's, where Scotty's like, "Look what they're doing." It's like testing maneuvers. Like he's trying to get like a handle on how to pilot a starship.
And it would have kept doing it if they hadn't blocked it, with manual control and stuff like that. I thought that was really cool. It was. It felt realistic in that sense instead of just like I'm just taking over. It's just like he's literally learning the systems and like doing it through remote, pilot.
Yeah, well thought out detail.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. What are y'all's thoughts on this episode overall? Like did you watch it like just recently for this discussion? I think you both did. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like Father watched it last night, I think. And I watched it
this morning.
Yeah. So what'd you think, Aaron? You can go first if you like.
I always like do the young Aaron, old Aaron kind of like thing. It was like young Aaron liked it enough, but it was sort of like, but if I was on this planet, I wouldn't want to do dragons and like stuff from Lewis Carroll. It was just like that would be like I want Star Trek or the Bionic Man or whatever it was, as a kid. It was just like, okay. So I always thought what they thought up was pretty unimaginative. But I liked the idea. I wanted to see more of like the complex, and for some reason the what is it? The gravestone always interested me. Like the year was like the year 709, or no, it was the 5th day of the 12th moon of the year of 7009 of this planet. I don't know, for some reason, like the whole idea of it just being a completely different marking of time and stuff was really interesting to me.
I have that. I'm trying to find that slide, but now everyone's seeing all the slides, which is fine. There we go.
There you go. Yeah. I always like monuments and stuff like that. It's interesting, like the alien writing and stuff. So as a kid, I thought that was interesting. I would have wanted to learn more about the culture that built the planet, as opposed to just the robot that's running it. But it was interesting. I liked the the little drones and the idea that that they can create pretty much anything very quickly. So it must be some sort of like replicator, sort of like the Protostars ship creator,
right?
But making robots of whatever's in your mind. So
yeah, it is pretty cool. I love that we got to see more of the technology behind the planet, because in the original series it's kind of mysterious, but here you really see under the work, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, we just hear McCoy talk about it, and you're like, that was probably one of the things I was disappointed about in the original episode. It was like, oh, we didn't get to see anything.
Right. So,
and this
totally.
one we do.
Father, what do you think?
I really like the visuals in this one. I like the design of the computer and the technology, and kind of like that big computer room that Uhura's hanging out in. And they're able to get, more elaborate with these fantasies, instead of just having, like a tiger that they, I don't know, went and borrowed from the zoo or something. Like, they have this gigantic cat.
And a dragon, a two-headed dragon, a pterodactyl
flying around. So yeah, those playing card dudes, like, they kind of have like a two-dimensional body with like a three-dimensional head on top. Like, that'd be like really hard to pull off in live action. Like, I don't know, kind of felt like something you would see like in a Silver Age comic book or something. So that was cool to have that type of stuff. Overall, like, the story, though, it's a little like anticlimactic. It's kind of predictable, kind of like falls on like a bunch of standard Star Trek tropes. I'm sure there was some major Roddenberry influence on the script. What with the idea of a computer trying to figure out its place in the galaxy and its relationship with organic beings and other computers and stuff like that, which of course Roddenberry would go on to make an entire movie about. But yeah, I love the sense of continuity in the animated series, and this is one of several examples of them kind of doing a sequel to something from the original series, or tying back into a particular episode. A lot of very similar to, say, Yesteryear and Journey to Babel, or some other stuff that we haven't gotten to quite yet. But yeah, this tying into Shore Leave.
Absolutely. Sub-Commander Tall says, presumably the crew used the planet for recreation after they encountered the caretaker in Shore Leave. Did the machines get safeguards, or do we believe the crew actually controlled their thoughts? I don't know. What do you guys think?
we have to get a revisit by the Cerritos.
Yeah, I think so. It's true.
I mean,
you would hope that they would put safeguards in, because like who knows what people would come up with,
Yeah, it's true.
I think if you made it a recurring thing, you would do something. According to the dialogue in Shore Leave, it's like, well, as long as we keep that in mind, it'll be okay. But I don't know if you're gonna make a habit into like going back here. I guess maybe I never thought of this before, but we were talking about like the abandoned amusement park idea before. I guess when holodecks become commonplace and they become advanced enough to create characters like this, why would anyone need to come back here? You just go to the Holo Suite.
Oh my god, that's so sad. Actually,
that works really well for us. So like, you come back and just find this all by himself, and like that makes him the crazy megalomaniac.
Oh my gosh,
megalomaniac.
Could that be? Could he end up being like the biggest bad of all time?
That would be great.
What kind of computer?
Mike is watching.
I release this idea came from the ether. Anyways, you could just just take it, right? Like whatever. I don't know about Aaron and Steven. They might have different ideas and might want you to contact them. This is a group.
I just
effort.
want like a credit that's like, inspired by or whatever, something like that.
I feel like you could show up as an animated version of you. That would be pretty awesome.
There you go.
That would be an honor.
I'll take that. Yeah, exactly.
Supposedly Terry Matalas is going to put Father and I in a future 24th century Star Trek series, so we can all get into Star Trek somehow. Yeah, we're not holding you to. Well, I'm not holding you to at Terry's house, but Father, you might be.
I'm definitely based on that. We'll form our opinions on Picard season 3 on Text Trek. If I get referenced, or
my improv character could become like in there, like the Trill. That would be
the Trill.
It's like, oh yeah, Edred Zed could be real.
Was he joined or unjoined?
He was joined because his symbiote was what was in his husband who died. So there's a lot of similarities between my character and what happened to
Gray or Tall.
Gray, yeah. And it's just like, okay. And those writers did come and see our show, so I'm like, all right. It was a year and a half before any of that had like been written. But anyway.
Very interesting. I would have loved to have come see your shows. They look like they were so much fun.
They're fun. They're, like, for me, they were fun, but / super stressful because it's like the first real show that I've ever done. So I always thought that I was horrible. And everything's like, oh my god, everybody's gonna just. And they're like, you're great. I'm like, what show did you see? But our director always said it's like the worst seat in the house is up here. You always find what's wrong and what you would have changed. So,
and I've been on stage and you can't freaking see people; you just see lights.
Yes, that is actually helpful. Honestly, I'm fine with that.
That's true. If you see people reacting like their faces, you could get distracted, like I do with Twitter.
But we're in a very small box theater, so it's like the person. Yes, there's lights, but the person is like you could touch them practically. So it's like they are pretty close there. Anyway, sorry.
No, it's totally fine. Well, I don't know. Audience, let us know if that's totally fine. I don't care.
Nobody cares about our show that isn't on anymore.
It's totally fine. This scene was interesting. Like McCoy's comment here, he's like, they don't build them like they used to. Isn't this like a terrible like plantation home type representation?
I guess it's like the same style architecture, but I don't see any crops being grown.
I'd like to believe that this is actually Sony Studios in Culver City. So it's like, they don't make them like this, like these old film studios anymore.
There you go. Okay, that's my new interpretation. I like that.
Because that's what they use, like the front of Sony's that building as Terra in Gone with the
that's
Wind.
Right. That's right. I was gonna say it resembles Terra a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah. I do like Joel, your comment. McCoy just wants to drink tea on the porch. That is a nice experience, by the way, I have to say. I have been at a big house, let's just call it that, in I think it was in Savannah, yeah. And it was nice. You just sit out on the porch and have some tea and little treats and stuff. It is a nice experience. This style of home, I guess what would be the colonial period not the colonial, sorry, the what is this period? We're not experts on everything here, only Star Trek. So anyways, this kind of like old-timey house is a uniquely American thing, I think, which is cool. You see it a lot. You see this style of house. In fact, the White House looks kind of like this. So I appreciate it for that. But yeah, Dr. McCoy's comment was kind of weird. Because his granddad, is that someone that we could see maybe show up in like, we could have seen him on Enterprise. Right?
Are you talking about the guy who made the Weed Killer?
Yeah.
That was his great granddad,
I'm assuming this is his house, like then maybe. Or something like that, because McCoy's kind of obsessed.
Yeah, the best garden in the South.
Yeah, and look, that garden's nice. I wish
there's like a debate on if McCoy is from Georgia or Mississippi.
I always assumed he was from Georgia, but I don't know.
Well, it's weird that he says in wasn't Shore Leave. I guess it was the Side of Paradise, when he talks about having a Georgia style mint julep, which that doesn't make any sense. They pointed that out on mission logs that for it to be a mint julep, it has to have bourbon, and bourbon only comes from Kentucky. If it's whiskey made outside of Kentucky, it's technically not bourbon. So how could you have a Georgia style mint julep? But maybe in the future, the borders between Georgia and Kentucky get mixed up or something. Maybe, but he went to school at Ole Miss, according to Deep Space Nine. So I think he grew up in Georgia, then attended university in Mississippi.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's my I don't know. That's my headcanon.
It would be really cool to see what became of the once United States in the future, like,
I don't think the United States exists post World War III. I think it just becomes
but we have LA and Boston and
like the cities are still around, but I don't think there's like I don't think people call it no one ever says like United States in reference to anything like post World War III, right?
They say North America.
They only say United States when they're talking about before World War III. And if someone is like from somewhere in this area, they either say like the name of the state, like Indiana, for example, with Captain Janeway, or they just say North America.
Right. Yeah.
So I think we still like kind of would call like the regions like unofficially, like we would still like, oh yeah, like the area there is California, then you have Arizona, New Mexico,
and
Texas,
cities like maybe retain their name. Like
and cities of course retain their name, but I don't think there's like a United States government.
Right, no, I don't think so either.
Because we have a ton of California class ships named after cities.
So.
Yeah, it's true.
So even if they got destroyed in the earthquake or got flooded in the earthquake, they would still be remembered as a starship.
I think some of them. I think the earthquake wasn't quite as destructive as Janeway made it out to be, but.
Our sub-commander reminds us that Kirk refers to Iowa. So yeah, there's like a lot of I imagine that like I think that's kind of nice because the spirit of the United States is that we're a bunch of different states with different kind of, ideals. So even if the United States no longer exists, these states survive somehow, these cultures, if you will. So there you go, Father. That's a really awesome idea. I'd like to see like a book of, what kind of book or reference would that be? Like a Star Trek history books, like future history books. It would be awesome. Like someone should write a 32nd century perspective history of Star Trek, whatever we know so far, I guess.
Well, there is that book, the the United Federation of Planets, the first 150 years.
Oh, yeah. Who wrote that?
Well, in universe, I think it was like written by Admiral Sulu. I don't know like who actually wrote it. I can go. I got the book over here. I can go grab it, I guess.
Oh, that's rad. Yeah, there's. I'm just getting excited. I like history. Sorry.
I think it's like David A. Goodman. David Goodman.
This is a picture. Thanks, Aaron, for pulling this. So this is the actual set.
The Culver City, yeah.
Studios. Oh, that's so cool.
So they had something like when you open up that door, it's like they put I want to say that like they pushed through that into the behind it. I don't know. There's a way that they basically made it feel like you went in that door and then into a room that isn't really there. Like it was before CGI. It's just somehow they did this really cool tracking shot. I have to go back and watch it. They had the making of Gone with the Wind. For me as a kid, I was super interested in this movie, and people are like, "Why?" I was like, "Because it was basically a special effects film."
Right.
That was the part that I was interested in, just like how they did it. And they actually did set all of those things on fire when they were burning Terra, and everyone around LA called and like, the Culver Studios are on fire, and they're like, "Nope, we're doing a set thing." Oh yeah,
there it is. That's so cool. David A. Goodman. Oh, awesome.
David A. Goodman. He's very nice. Goodman.
It looks like you're beating me now, Fathery.
Yeah. So you're wearing your TNG blue today.
Yeah, I'm wearing this tee, and because it's a little chilly. I'm gonna keep it kind of cool in the house. So
nice. That's the reason I wore my thing. We have a little cold snap here too. I don't know if you could call it a cold front. It's like 78 outside.
It's kind of like a TNG style windbreaker, which back when windbreakers were a thing, and I would wear them as a kid, I'd always kind of pretend it was like some future version of a Starfleet uniform. So,
nice. Yeah, we're moving into our traditional 82 degrees for Thanksgiving for some reason. It always happens.
We get the return of the rabbit and Alice. That was fun.
The rabbit's more animated.
Yeah.
So like the last one looked like a dude in like a rabbit suit. This one looks like like an actual cartoon creature. Like
a
little bit more.
They're all drifting towards the Disney version of it too. It feels like a little bit.
Right. Oh yeah, Alice especially.
Not enough to get sued, but yeah.
Yeah, that is dangerously close to a Walt Disney Company lawsuit. In fact, I think if they did this today, they would probably be a little bit more cautious.
Yeah,
you just have to change
I think the way this is described is in the book. So I think it's not like they chose what Disney made. That was actually described.
Aaron, you might have mentioned this while I was fetching this book, but they borrow some of that Spock stuff, talking about like him and his mom and reading Alice in Wonderland. They bring that up again in Discovery.
Mm-hmm. The fact that his mom read Lewis Carroll to him, which is, we also know that read it to oh my God, what is wrong with my brain?
Michael
Burnham, like my brain, Burnham, like what? No, that's wrong. What is going on? Michael Burnham.
It was cool. So, it was a cool moment. Yeah, I totally thought of that in that scene. I was like, oh, look at that. What is it called? Reverse continuity, something like that.
Yeah. Well, just the fact that it's like, okay, see, TAS is still, it's something that people. Oops. Sorry, I had a weird issue with my mic.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, you're fine. You're totally fine.
We can hear you.
That was okay. But suddenly my Siri was on. Just like I didn't understand what you said. I'm like, I'm not talking to you.
That reminds me. Let me turn Do Not Disturb on, because if a call comes in, it happens to me. Yeah,
I'm getting the same thing. It's like apparently my friend got the wrong couch delivered, and now I get to hear every thing about it. Stop it.
Well, while Aaron figures out his mic, I will just say the spirit of what you were saying, I think, was that it's nice to see that this show get its like proper recognition for what it's contributed to the Star Trek story. Did I get that right? I think so. I'm speaking for Aaron.
I'm sorry. I'm back now. Nice. Even though I look like I never left, but sorry. Yes. What was your question?
I was doing some kind of like cheesy thing about how like the animated series got its recognition that it deserves, and that's awesome.
Well, it was nice that just the fact that it was, everybody's like, it's not canon. Like that kind of started to fade already by the time that Discovery had come out. But now it's like on top of Lower Decks, and basically it is canon. I mean, they had the Kzinti in Picard and
yeah. No, it's
Memory Alpha doesn't make any distinction, which is what a lot of people go. Yeah. I know Memory Alpha.
They used to. I think they used to be commentary that was like, oh, it's not really canon, but so yeah. And I mean, they've literally gone. We've got somebody who went on the official Picard podcast and talked about how they see it as the fourth. I think it's Alex Kurtzman. It's the fourth season of the 5-year mission.
Yeah, which is what Dorothy always said.
Yeah. And it's in the official timeline. It's official. So I'm hoping that we had a little bit to do with that with my podcast and the in the book.
I bet you did.
If nothing else, me just messaging John Van Sitters. It's like, we got another 50th or another Star Trek Day coming up. Am I going to see clips of the animated series in the montages? It's like, fine, we'll put one in there for you.
Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate that. That's awesome.
That was literally what I was told about. Like, he took me aside with this last year. It's like just watch the montage. I'm like, okay.
So I pulled this one up because it was a cool moment, but I'm obsessed with this frame. I think this is like one of the coolest, like just artistically, like I think that's such a beautiful image of the character Uhura, and I love that Nichelle Nichols is singing. Which
is she?
Well, I was wondering if, because like it sounded a little like the call of the like the Lorelei signal. So I don't know if she was or wasn't, but I'm gonna at least
she was making sort of melodic, sort of kind of sounds. But yeah, no, I was like, too bad that maybe they just didn't want to deal with rights to a song, or they didn't want to use a generic song or something. But it was just. They probably just told her, just vamp, do something. And she loved doing it. And it's like, so I'm either that or it was somehow left over from the Lorelei signal and they just reused the audio, which I wouldn't put that past them.
Anyways, if any art brokers are watching and you have this cell in your collection, please contact me because I would love it actually. And if it's a reasonable price, I would pay for it. So
you would have to get the cell and the background because there's looking at
oh,
this,
that's
it's
right.
like there's all these different pieces, and for some reason, when they started selling everything off, they're like, here, you can take this and you can take the background here. It's like, and nothing. I've never gotten one where it's all complete pieces.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Well, but okay, I'm doing my I'm declaring my Picard journey here, my Picard archaeology journey. I'm gonna go and try to find the components to make this frame, this cell, or one close to it because it lasts. Well, I don't know. They could have freezed it, but whatever. I'm gonna find this, put it back together, and then try to buy it. Or buy it in pieces.
That's the other thing with it becoming canon and more notices. That also the prices on all this stuff has gone way up from when I first started collecting. Some of them are ridiculous. I'm like, no, I'm not going to pay $700 for like Spock's head. You know, it's just like, I can get that somewhere else, and that's ridiculous.
I would pay for a giant Spock though. Spock 2. But what'd you all think of Uhura in this episode? Fathery, you can go first if you want.
I've observed before that I think Uhura gets a little bit more screen time and a little bit more, I don't know, she just gets to do more in the animated series. Another reason why I think it's important to include the animated series. But yeah, she had like one cool line to the computer. I forgot what it was. It escapes me, but
oh, I know what it is. Hold on, I wrote it down.
Okay, what is it?
Well, I gotta do the McCoy one later.
Shortly after
I'll make a statement you won't find so redundant.
Oh yeah. I kept like redundant.
Yeah, she was saucy.
Yeah, I love sassy Uhura. That's one of the things I've really enjoyed in Strange New Worlds. We get to see that side of her more in her youth. Yeah, I love that. You know, the big famous one comes from The Naked Time with the when Silu's like, "I'll rescue you, fair maiden," and she says, "Sorry, neither." The line that just like went over everyone's heads for years and years. I think lately a lot of people have caught on to it. But yeah, it's just I love that kind of it's kind of something like Nichelle Nichols had in real life, but she has like the certain type of confidence that like if someone else tried to exhibit it, they might come off as like arrogant or cocky, but like Nichelle could pull it off. And I love seeing that part of her personality leak through Uhura.
Yeah. 100%.
Aaron, you responded to my tweet about this like caretaker device, the nursemaid, whatever, you know, Sulu calls it. So what's it based on?
You actually got it the second time. It was the War of the Worlds tripod floating thingy, and it was actually used later as he's Bob said it was also the impetus for designing the Kzinti ships, even though those look much more angular and stuff. But they kind of both have components of the same thing. But yeah, you can. I mean, this you can really see. Yeah, it just doesn't have the neck, basically.
And then I think, let me show the image. So jokingly, I quote that it resembled a Cylon base star.
Yeah.
Wait, I have it here.
Also, having like drones and stuff is kind of interesting because that's something that really is more modern than back in that time.
Oh yeah. Or it also made me think of that TNG episode with the weapons dealer.
Oh yeah.
Arsenal of Freedom.
Yes.
Yeah, totally.
That had little drones in it.
There's a lot of stuff that comes from TAS, or at least was explored in TAS, that people just didn't give it credit for.
Oh, the seatbelts are in this one.
Yeah, it's true.
Yep.
I have that screenshot too. I love that we're excited about the seatbelts because of Captain Pikachu. Shout out to Captain Pikachu. Over here is where I like it. I thought they were like base stars because the shadows make it look like they have the two levels. So that's why I was like being cheeky about it, right? Like,
those are weird shadows when you look at it.
They're little the reflection. Oh, that's probably what those are. Actually,
like a glossy floor or something like that. But
yeah,
of course,
and now
she isn't reflected. But okay.
And now that you mention it, like it's actually a reflection because you could see part of the red center.
Yeah.
So that makes more sense. Cool. Right on. See, solve Unsolved Mysteries on Starfleet Boy.
I really like that
room.
background. Yeah. I don't. The architecture in that room is cool.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Aaron?
Oh, I was to say the same thing. It's like I really like the kind of just the look and feel. So it'd be interesting to have seen this in realized in real life because, well, I guess some of the old movies wouldn't have been. There's still matte paintings, but like in what is it? What's the movie from with Robbie the Robot?
Forbidden Planet.
Forbidden Planet.
It has a bit of that Forbidden Planet, like alien machinery sort of feel to it, which I like. It also feels like maybe Duck Dodgers in the 25th century just pop up somewhere.
It is. It's really cool. I love I love anytime there's and the backgrounds on the show are killer, but anytime they do these zoom outs with like these landscapes or tech rooms or whatever, it's really, really pretty. The other funny kind of line in this episode I thought was the playing cards weren't playing.
I like that. I love DeForest Kelly's delivery of it. It was just, just like straight up felt like Dr. McCoy. Good job.
Yeah, all the characters felt like themselves in this episode too, which I thought was sometimes they're maybe a little bit more washed out, but like these all felt like, okay, this totally could have been a TOS episode.
It's really cool to see Erix and Emrys get more to do as well.
Gabler's in this one too.
Oh, and Gabler, yeah.
Oh, he's also in this one twice at the same time. He's in engineering and on the bridge, and Sulu's also on the bridge and on the planet. So there's some bloopers.
That's hilarious.
Gabler and his twin brother, and also Mirror Universe Sulu chased Uhura back into the Prime Universe, I guess. So.
I think it's wild and kind of funny that anytime we go to Emrys, somehow the show gets hypnotizingly slow. Like when she speaks, and it's like even those shots of the Enterprise exterior with her voiceover, I'm like, oh, I love Majel Barrett's like kind of like so like I don't know how to describe it. It's feline, I guess, is the only way you can describe it. It's like it's got like a meow quality to it.
Overtly sexual. Like, it makes me feel slightly uncomfortable, but I think I don't want to kink shame. I know there's like I don't know about huge, but I know that there is a active furry community out there. So I just assume they would be like really into Emrys, and if they are, more power to them. For me, it's like a little makes me a little uncomfortable, but I'm sure someone's into it.
Joel says slow and purry.
Slow and purry.
Somebody in the chat room, and I don't remember who said they point out that she also gets control of the con at some point.
Oh yeah, that was Jill said that. So yeah, that was a cool moment too. I like that. I've been calling her like Emrys, but it's
Maress.
Or Maress, yeah, like Maress, I guess,
yeah. As a kid, I called her Emrys, and so every time I said that, I had people who were just like, "You're not a real TAS fan," like because I was like 6 when I first started reading like in print,
Tupac says Emrys was my first sci-fi crush. I freely admit.
See, there you go. I'm glad that you had that.
I guess we already talked about this scene, but yeah, I included these because that was pretty interesting, and it was sad to see that the Keeper was dead because I guess he was the last of his kind.
Yeah,
so.
He was kind of cool. Like, I liked that dude. He was nice.
Yeah, and I like the other those are just gibberish languages, right? Like they're not like anything that's established. Like, because at this point they didn't do any of that kind of stuff, right? Like, I feel like, yeah.
It almost looks like Klingon and like Romulan or something like that. Just squinting, but yeah, that's not what they are.
That's interesting. And these could be ancient languages like Takan or Iconian or something like that as well.
I'm assuming also it's like whatever their planet, what their people are. One of them is going to be that.
But yeah, that was sad. At first I was wondering like I wondered when I was watching it if the computer was capturing Uhura to make her the next caretaker, but that was just like a split second
that'd be cool if it was like someone has to take over the mantle.
Yeah, because he's like the failsafe to make sure everything kind of works. There's like or whatever. So
but... they could have created a character on the ship and kind of done what's the name of the dude in the Carbomite maneuver? That ends up staying with Baylock on the.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I don't remember his name, but I remember
the guy who's like real like nervous and stuff, and then he was gonna stay and kind of like represent the Federation. So they could have done that, I suppose.
Yeah, I wouldn't have liked it if we lost Uhura screen time though in favor of some. Oh, Mr. Bailey says is the name of the
Mr.
character.
Bailey.
Yeah,
there
so,
we go.
Yeah,
I wanted to say Styles. I'm like, no, Styles is Balance of Terror. Bailey was the Carbomite maneuver.
It would have been neat though if Uhura was faced with this conundrum and her solution was to help the computer realize that it didn't need a caretaker, that it could take care of itself.
Or they could have made like a giant clone of Spock and left it behind to be the new caretaker.
There's always a solution. Like it's true. Oh, I love it, Aaron. You changed your background to the control. Here's the here's this like and Scotty commanding. It's really cool. Now I don't know if maybe you guys can help me out with this, but like the bay door, didn't it always open like split from the middle? Oh, okay.
It's also in our bloopers.
Cool.
Yeah, that should not be doing that.
Well, in Strange New Worlds, it's just a big force field back there.
But what's that cool nacelle on top model shuttle? That's cool. I've never seen that before.
I love these shuttle designs, and I love the long range shuttle that we see in the Slaver weapon. It coming up very soon. But yeah, these man, wouldn't it be awesome if like Eaglemoss still existed, A, but B, like made models of like these animated series shuttles?
Yeah, for the 50th anniversary, which is of course not at all what we were in discussions about. So like we were really hoping for that, but
that sucks.
That is actually the ship that brought I think the Survivor episode. I don't know if we see it, but I think it's supposed to be his ship. That's like Winston Carter Winston. It's supposed to be his ship, just basically stuck there during the thing, and then they just left it in the cargo bay.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That reminds me of how like they had Mud's ship aboard the Enterprise.
Star Trek Into Darkness.
Into Darkness. Yeah, that's really neat. Oh, cool. Very nice.
And if this one in the Mud episode, actually Mud's Passion, have you done that one already, or is that
no?
No, that's coming up next. That's next episode.
There's up to the far right, there's another like little pod shuttle kind of thing. It's this round disc that they designed and then never used for anything, but it's actually in the cargo bay as well.
I love the shot of the shuttle bay so much that I use that as the background on my Twitter bio picture that I use on like a lot of social
because you
media.
can do that because you can just do screenshots and then composite it together to make a big long.
Oh, that's rad. It's a pretty cool set. Yeah.
Like, is there like a light above that? I'm trying to remember that blue area up at the top.
It could either be a light, or it could just be like a portion of a second level hanging above us, like those other ones there.
Yeah.
Because they're kind of jutting out like in intervals, so there might be
like you just hang it up there to like do maintenance and stuff on it. Like
typically I feel like I don't know where I remember seeing this, but like there's a control room up. Yeah, in Star Trek V, Scotty's looking down from like a control room at the thing, and I think that's like where the controls, like the mini, hangar control hangs out, like the hangar traffic control or whatever.
The Enterprise A actually has like a smaller shuttle bay than the Enterprise. The original Connie Enterprise.
Yeah, this Connie Enterprise changes a lot.
It's big. It's big here in the animated series. It's big in Strange New Worlds. It's big in the motion picture. And then when we see the A Trek 5, it gets a lot smaller. But it's a newer ship. It had some various changes. I'm sure.
And if it was TNG, that would be like a bar up there. Because like if you are a lounge, every.
That's right, actually.
Yeah, if you go look at the plans and then that walkthrough that somebody did back in like stage 9.
Yes, that's right.
Like there's a lounge for like departure lounge, basically. Like you can get drinks there and watch the shuttles come in and out of the main cargo bay.
That fits with what's seen on screen a little, because the Enterprise D as the flagship did seem like a hub of activity for functions, diplomats, like transporting, like
Yep.
people like that. So it feels like even though we didn't see it, that all that was going on in the background. Like there was probably like regular flights coming to and from Enterprise. So I hope we can see more of that kind of stuff in the future. But anyways, I don't know why I'm delighted by those kinds of minutia.
Because we're Star Trek fans. That's where
it's true.
That's
right.
Get into like the details.
Yeah. Why was I feeling bad about that? I'm wearing that as a badge. Here we have the computer reveals that it can read minds, but we already knew that. But it reveals that it can read minds, especially if there's like a heightened emotion of some kind. So that's kind of cool, like defense mechanism. It's like hard to beat that one. And then this was awesome. They were wishing for a way to find the entrance to the underground and like the planet. And it's interesting. It seems like the computer doesn't have control of every function. There must be a lot of like independent functions that
there's probably a lot of like automated processes. There's probably there are many lines of code in the software.
Well, he's becoming sentient. He also might have offloaded some of that stuff.
That's true. Like, to give it.
Yeah, it's like when you go and eat a hamburger, like you think about like, okay, I'm gonna pick it up, I'm gonna take a bite, I'm gonna chew it, swallow it, but then like you don't think about like, okay, I'm gonna like make my stomach like increase acid to dissolve it, and like I'm gonna like break it down in my intestine. Like you don't.
You don't.
No, I don't. All that stuff's on autopilot, right? I don't know. Maybe other people do it differently.
No, I'm being silly. Yeah. No, totally. That's a really good analogy. I like that.
Here we got the pterodactyls. We have the giant cat, which I loved. I love that he's an orange tabby as well, because that's what my cat is, and I guess Spot.
Yeah, well, sometimes Spot is a shape-shifting gender fluid cat.
Yeah.
That's true.
Spot is a true cat.
Ginger fluid. I'm like, that's interesting.
Future cat. I love it.
Yeah.
And then Spock comes up with this idea based on the last, and I love this. Like, I love this little story plot. Like, he's like, well, last time, this is how we get into the control room, because last time this happened.
Spock like leaning up against the wall.
That's very casual.
Casual. Like I never noticed that before.
This could be my poster for these discussions: a casual and informal conversation about Star Trek: The Animated Series.
The cave and the cat tries to get us.
And then he passes out in the cave, but then he somehow falls outside of the cave. I thought that was really funny. But anyways, the hatch opens up, and then the
zero
tripod
gravity
thing comes up, and then
which
this is a
you're
cool
obligated
to
do in animated Star Trek. I said that like before Lower Decks and Prodigy came, I said like, oh, both these shows are going to show us examples of like the ship losing gravity, people floating around, because that's so much easier to do in animation. Doesn't happen,
and it looks good too in animation. It looks legit.
When they were, what was the episode where they're trying to get the extra quarters, and they go on Lower Decks. They basically go into that room that's zero gravity and spinning, and the deflector array area.
Yeah.
See, there he is. He's there hanging out in 3D, but he's also there in engineering.
That is pretty funny that they did that.
I guess that Vendorian came back.
That'd be funny. We didn't know there's a Vendorian officer. The entire thing. He just becomes other people.
I also would like to own, for some reason, this cell. So that's the only reason I put I put this in here and put it full screen, is because I really like this shot. It's kind of funny. Yeah, and I feel like you can make a lot of memes.
I feel like they're looking at me. They're like, hey, what are you looking at?
They're also using depth, and like if you look at it in the way that TNG used the 4:3 format to actually still make it feel cinematic and stuff. It's like I feel like this is kind of playing with layers and depth.
Yeah, totally. Agreed. And of course, you got to put a shot of the dragon in. I would also own this cell. You know what it is about this particular episode? It's that mountainous, like foresty background. It's just so like lovely. I just like it feels like we're like there. Like I want to go there right now. Like
Bob
Colorado
was really
or whatever.
super into dragons and dinosaurs and stuff like that. So he said, if you look at this, that there's a little bit of a lineage between it and the Sur snake from the ambergris element. So it's got that sort of like red snake that was underwater.
Oh.
And then this is used later, I think, in, I want to say Flash Gordon or something like that, where it's like they basically take one of the heads off and they use it. So it's
what
reused.
What a cool like system they must have had pre-computers, really, I guess, of organizing all these, because this physical media, like that you have to find a box probably with these cells.
Yeah.
There was a drawer in a filing cabinet and that was like marked like dragons.
Right. They would have kept all this. Like or something like that. Yeah, exactly. That's pretty spectacular when you think of the operation behind that. So
I think there's a picture there's a picture in our book of these folders that they had. They're these big, like slightly larger than what the frame of the cells are. And so they have the information on the front, like what episode it's from, what frame, set, et cetera. So they basically had those, and I'm sure they had them all in those like big flat drawers that they have for if you go to like a museum and they have posters and stuff laid out. So
that's very cool.
So yeah, it was definitely, there was a system when it existed.
And it seems like they did a good job because they churned these out pretty quickly, right? Like it seemed like a pretty good system. So
I think it was like 3 weeks from concept to completion in some cases.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Cake is Eternal came up with a good caption for this one. Are you still here?
Oh, very.
When Paramount Plus asks, like, "Are you still watching Star Trek? Do you want to stop or go to the next episode?" Like, yeah,
this should be the
dudes.
Very Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Why are you here? Go.
But we had this cool other part of the control room. Spock escapes and starts dashing. They end up over here, and those other drones came up pretty quickly too. They just like popped in that moment. I was like, wow.
I think this is where they like this background. Like I think they kind of rushed it. It feels like, because these are, I don't know. It feels very kind of scribbly.
Yeah,
like
I see what you mean. Like
the previous one, especially the slide before. Yeah, there it just feels like I get what they're getting at. It just feels, I don't know. It just feels a little Alice in Wonderland. Like the ride at Disneyland where it's like everything's kind of like off kilter
and it is noticeable because usually the show actually does such a good job of like making these backgrounds pretty detailed and like I see what you mean. Like some of the things that the lines are like off here and there, and things like that. And it does look scribbly. It's true. It is interesting that now that I'm like actually staring at it, it's like there's some really interesting instruments that like I wonder what they were inspired by. Like,
yeah.
But it's a cool room actually because like the green and like the arches, the whole thing's a computer. It's like crazy.
Yeah, and everything actually does flash and blink, and so that might be the other reason why it's the way it is, because I think everything has to change, so it's
it's true.
Simple to put together.
But what did you guys think of the actual like the design of the interface, I guess you could call it, of the computer, like the main interface?
It looked cool and alien and strange, and I'm looking again at that background, just like that main computer room, and that's a very interesting perspective with those apparatuses in the foreground up top. Like we don't know what they are, but they look intimidating and alien and peculiar, and just like that overall kind of pulpy retro futurism.
Yeah,
the screens off to the side of the oval look a lot like Star Tours has a couple places that have like little screens like that kind of almost at that same angle.
Oh yeah, you're totally right.
Like a trapezoid display instead of a rectangle.
Yeah. But the oval, it kind of reminds me a little bit of like HAL 9000.
Yeah. There is
which
like
I'm sure that probably was an inspiration there, assuming.
The dialogue was pretty good in terms of the computeriness of him, of the character. You know, like I thought that was pretty good. And James Doohan,
he does a good computer.
Like, yeah, he does a really good computer voice.
Yeah, like it was just like unnecessary question, basically redundant. It just kept like nope. It's exactly how like Siri acts or whatever. You're like, it just says the same thing over and over again.
It reminded me of Irrelevant, like when the Borg are like irrelevant, like or like whatever, like it kind of had that vibe to it. And there's a lot of green in this, so who knows?
Ooh, oh, that'd be interesting. Somehow simulate this.
Yeah, this poor planet. It was abandoned, and then the main computer was assimilated by the Borg.
There's so many things you can do with this like leftover planet. I love the idea that nobody has visited it because suddenly holodecks are popular everywhere. So
yeah. Yeah, it was well.
You'd be very pissed off. It's like, you promised me that all these people would come here, and now I'm like, maybe
I know, it's true. Like Kirk was like, "Yeah, everyone's gonna love you for this," and then, oh no, it's so sad.
For like what, 80 years, something like that, or whatever.
Oh shit. Kirk's foul deeds come back to haunt future generations.
Oh. I mean, you can ask Khan all about that.
Yeah, there should just be like a group that everybody gets together and does therapy of like all the people who are abandoned by Kirk. It's like, or they do a class action lawsuit against him or something.
The computer referred to itself, the only time I heard a name for itself was the thought duplicator. That's its actual kind of function, which is interesting.
Oh, okay.
So I thought that was a cool thing. Thought duplicator. But
where is that? Did they mention that in the show?
Yeah, so Uhura's talking to him. Well, in this whole scene when he's talking about his backstory a little bit.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay.
He says, yeah, oh no, it's earlier. Sorry. A good thought duplicator, like he says something like, that's what a good thought duplicator does. Anyways.
Oh, okay.
And then Uhura's like, oh, like, what do you mean? And then
I kind of, it's been a while since I've watched the full episode. I can just like skip through it to get the beats.
No, that's fine. I missed it like the first time I watched it. There's so much in these episodes. But I like that. Also, it's scary, but I like that the computer is able to like propagate itself like through technology of the Enterprise. And this kind of resembles like what I imagine, it's kind of next level, because I don't know if computer viruses were like a real huge problem at this time in the kind of world, because computers I think were mostly industrial and there wasn't really a home computer yet. I guess you could sabotage any computer with like a malicious code even back then, but I don't know if it was like such a huge concept. And this felt like a next level version of that, like a virus that can replicate itself, within another system. Like that's pretty cool.
1971 was the first virus, and it was really more like it was like a prank. It didn't do anything destructive. It was like, I'm the creeper, catch me if you can, which feels very Star Trek in that sense. So it wasn't. It was fairly close to this episode. That the first one was oh, apparently the creeper was based on Scooby-Doo. That's really funny. I did not know that the first virus had that in common. That's cool. But yeah, so that does fit. And also, like when you're saying it takes over, it's like kind of the protostar weapon.
Oh, the living construct. Oh yeah. Totally. Here are the seatbelts. They do exist. Yay. They are on the Enterprise, and we know from seeing it in, I guess, was it First Contact?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
we didn't see it. It was the cut scene.
No, it was Nemesis.
Nemesis. That's
Commander Madden, who doesn't exist in canon because he's a deleted scene character. But yeah, he's
I didn't realize that's when Picard's trying his chair out, the harness comes on and stuff like that. But it was already there. The ship's already had these like hidden harnesses that you can put on. I like that they're white. Was
just like he put them in at some point. We just like they're leftovers from his regime on the Enterprise or something.
Oh my gosh, that would be amazing if that's like something he installs and then they're here. Like that would be very cool. I like that.
Yeah, I guess we don't see this again until Star Trek Into Darkness.
Yeah. That's right. That's where we also see a seatbelt.
I blocked that movie from my mind.
I also loved as we're wrapping up here, I loved this moment where they kind of lingered on the ship's functions returning to normal with that music behind it. I found that so pleasant, and so I just thought that was a good way to end. Well, actually, I have a couple more things, but just a good way to like kind of like wrap up the dilemma in the episode. But of course, we get after Kirk does his thing and like convinces the computer that it's okay to be a servant to like biologicals, and
the computer's like kids and like just imagine like the average American kind of park goer or something like that, just like we paid all this money to go all the way here and you're gonna have fun, just like the kids, and that would be horrible.
And earlier I said that Uhura was credited with like turning the computer around. She definitely did like open its mind, but like Spock definitely did the closing on that deal. It's true. And then he decides to stay back. His idea of fun is just sitting back here and having discussions about logic and who knows what else with this computer. So that's kind of fun to imagine what could Spock and the computer have been up to, or what kind of conversations could they have gotten into.
Joel pointed out in the thing that those might not be reflections because they don't really look like reflections either, that they're just stacked, that they've like
right on,
and they've like gone on top of each other. And it's like, okay, I could see that.
Oh yeah, I could see that too. Either way, they look like base stars sometimes, and they look like tripods at other times.
Yeah.
So they're pretty cool. And who knows, they could have like they could have segments.
Maybe they split. Oh, maybe that's how they land. They actually just split, and it's like a base or something.
I do like that. Very cool. Huh. Someone do a technical manual of the shore leave planet. And then this
I would love to do that. That would be very cool.
It would actually be cool. And then here, feel free to hit me up as a just like someone who reviews or edits or whatever. I'd be happy to help with that project.
Okay.
But we get the dragon and the picnic, and it's delightful.
This honestly feels like something that we could see in Strange New Worlds, just because given that one episode that we watched, it's like I could see this being done as a live action piece, like now, especially because we have the effects ability. But this feels like it fits that vibe for some reason.
Absolutely. Or if they ever do a live action, post animated series in between show, you could probably do
like a Lost Era show.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'd love if they did a live action Star Trek show set in 20. You know how like the original series movies, how it was always like exactly like 300 years in the future, where that's where like we've retconned it to have taken place.
Right.
So like, what if we did that now and we had like a show that takes place in the year 2322? It would be like early 24th century, but it'd be kind of like halfway between Star Trek 6 and Encounter at Farpoint.
Oh,
that'd be a cool time period to explore.
Yeah, I love that idea.
And it'd be perfect.
A huge gap of time that we don't know anything that happened.
Yeah, it'd be perfect to get Walter or George to cameo as Sulu or Chekhov. Sneak them back into Trek one last time.
There's also that chunk of time between the motion picture and Wrath of Khan, which is like 15 years or something.
Yeah, that'd be a good area to set. You could do like a whole 7-season show in that time period.
Jill says, "I'm not sure I trust this master computer to be chill at the end. He's too obsessed with the master slave dynamic." It's true. And I think there's a reason that this computer could reconvert into an even more ardent villain. As we've discussed in this discussion, I think there's like definitely like a cause there to. I
love how we've just decided to write that episode as opposed to like review this one.
Yeah, it's true. Jill also says, "I adore this picnic scene." Yeah, there's so many good visuals in the animated series. It's such a beautiful
look at his tail, like it's all twined up. It's like that's so cute. It's like
it is super cute.
Like a cat would do that.
Anyways, this discussion was really fun, audience, and you guys made my Saturday. I was about to say my Sunday. I'm skipping ahead in time, but we're about to have more fun. Let me go here and do something. There we go. We're about to have more fun over on the Text Trek Discord server. Fathery, what's going on?
Well, if you want to go and participate in a watch party for the Star Trek Discovery Season 3 episode Forget Me Not, almost forgot the name of the episode. Wouldn't that have been ironic? But yeah, it's the one where they go back to the Trill home world. If people want to watch that with us, then you can sign up for the Text Trek Patreon. You come in as little as $2 per month, and we'll let you in. And that's going to kick off in about 20 minutes. We do that in the Text Trek Discord server.
Right on.
So I can share some links for all that.
Please do. And Aaron, what's going on that you can promote this week, or where can folks follow you if Twitter burns down?
Well, apparently, I'm on Mastodon, which I haven't really figured out, but I'm like on
I'm there too. I gotta find you.
So yeah, I need to work on that too.
Yeah. If you go to the to Twitter right now at Geek Filter, I'm using Geek Filter across the board. So Instagram, Excellent. Twitter, whatever. And I don't really have anything to promote, but I did a poster for the this week's Prodigy episode. I did it for Denoxy Depot, so I'm going to post that. I'm trying to decide if I want to do it today or Monday.
Ooh, whenever you post it, I will definitely be retweeting it. I'm so excited that you did that poster.
It was fun. It was like, 'cause it feels very Star Wars, like that whole episode, but it also the building architecture reminds me of the big Starbase or
Starfleet headquarters, right?
Yeah, like that sort of rounded building. So it feels like, okay, this architecture really does still fit into the Star Trek universe.
Excellent. Yeah. So
that was fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna be looking for that one and retweeting it. It's fun. I can't wait till everyone sees it. All right, so thank you everyone. Live long and prosper, and we will see. Oh, we didn't give ratings.
We didn't give it ratings.
Sorry. Oh. It's like a 90 no, I'm just kidding. It's a 10 for me. I loved it. It was really exciting to see Uhura get so many good moments, and as we went through, just to say, like, all the visuals and stuff are just beautiful. All right, Aaron, what's your funny
two-headed dragons out of two-headed dragons?
Yes, all right. Fathery.
I was gonna give it two heads out of one dragon.
Oh.
All right, now that formality's out of the way. Sorry, I'm rushing because Father has to get that Discord going. So, all right, live long and prosper, everyone, and we will see you next time. Thank you.
Bye.